this last week, and in fact, this entire year, since 3 January, it's been real tough with all the coming out of holidays with the COVID, and now the last 2 weeks for the weather. Hopefully, we got minimal, if any, snow other places. But on yesterday, Saturday, we did play 4 games at St. Paul's. They played 1 game at New Life. They decided to continue. Glad they did get the games in. Now this week, I'll talk about that right quick. On Tuesday, if you have a game, I would hope you accept it. All right. It should be every person in the association that's available has a game for Tuesday. If you don't have a game on Tuesday, text me. You will. All right. In fact, on Thursday and then Friday, we've had 3 people that have worked 3 games. I had a situation came up at Anson on Friday where the 2 officials there for the JV game worked a 2-man JV, then they did a 2-man varsity. And they also did a 3-man boys game. Because I had 2 individuals at the Anson Middle School. One of the individuals came over. It's a lot of, and some of that's going to be, and I would say to Tommy Bregman, Jason Ennis, and then Bryce Spiegel came over and joined them. Had somebody go let him know he finishes 2 games. Guys, and I'm going to have to do that somewhat on Tuesday to get this, to make this work. Going on 4 years, I've never told a school I didn't have enough officials. Right, that may come on Tuesday. I hope it doesn't. But a Tuesday and Friday, we're gonna have about 120 officials on the court. We really don't have that many that's available. So I'm gonna look at 2 things. That's the time you can get to the game. So if I text you tomorrow, I just verify everything. If you can get there early, but you got to have 2 things. You got to get there, and you got to have the physical capability, the physical ability to do 3 games. This is not 3 games or 5, 6 games that you do for Park and Rec, or what you do on the AAU, the weekend travel. This is a high school game, and those a lot of those games don't have a JV girls, so they go JV boys at 4:30, then 6 o'clock they start the varsity girls. Then, of course, they're following about 7:30, hour and a half each game. Some of the matchups don't dictate. I mean, we got some outstanding games on Friday. I got a chance to go out and see 4. We got a lot of competitive matchups, and I don't want to do that because you got to have everything. I was at the game the other day. They had 2. at Southview and a couple of places, they had a good girls game, very competitive, and a good boys game. It's not many nights you're going to get that, but so I don't want to do that. Those particular schools or like that. I know we got West Dayton and St. Paul's, we got Overhears and Westover. Got a lot of good games coming up on Tuesday. In fact, the remaining of this season, I would say when I say remaining of the season, this the last 2 weeks. If I get finalized Tuesday, all the maneuvering, get that straight, I will work on Fridays. So we'll have Fridays done by the end of tomorrow, because there's some schools still trying to add games. They got it all over the weekend, got some yesterday, got some today. I try to tell them, stay away from the 2 days I wanted them to stay away from, the 1st and the 4th. And then they still add. A lot of it's got to do on middle school. They still gonna have some middle school playoffs. Sampson County, probably Hope County and Cumberland County. I'll verify those tomorrow, what days they're gonna do those. The lightest day we have is gonna be on a Wednesday. We still have some games, varsity games, right? This Friday, I mean, I'm trying to get through Tuesday, then Friday. Everything else is gonna be, I think, gonna kind of even out. But I will get the last 2 weeks of the regular season assigned by Tuesday. All right. I say that Tuesday. So many of you, I'm gonna say some of you, many of you have not updated your orbit the entire regular season. So don't worry about it. I mean, this is the fun part. This is the best time of the season for me as a signer, because it's just like you watch the playoffs, just like you do anything else. They shorten the bench. Some people season may be over already. Okay. I mean, if you working games on Fort Bragg, working games on the Parks and Rec, you're working games, Robinson County, Richmond County, the Bladen County, Columbus County. Now I work, I mean, last week, Jimmy Williams, who does that signing up there, he calls against, I'm done. Guys, I want it, and I try to work with everyone to make sure we hit the basketball cover. We all, the idea is not, I mean, some people look at it as, you know, it's tribal and it's in that community, you just cover their games. Someone, if I would rather someone be on the court basketball game that's made at home. Someone says, hey, they got a college game, they got this out. That's what I let them go. You get a high school game, that's up to you. You're independent contractors. I will reach out to some of you who I think can do this, and that's only going to be on Tuesday and Friday. No other day, and I'm going to ask you to do that. That is, you have the ability, physical ability to work. Now, I was going to do that. Some of the games, they still have JV girls and JV boys. They're not going to have a situation where someone's going to try to do 4 games. All right. But Tuesday, so if you got a game and it's got 2 different things, you're going to get 2 different game fees. You know, one varsity game fee, and you also get a JV. I'm going to have somebody do 2 JV games and just one varsity. That's whatever it is, you look at it. So that's the assignments. The declines and turnbacks. That's one thing when if you don't accept the game within a allotted time, it's just like a decline game. That's what it comes back. So if you get, now, when you go into the arbiter, sometimes the arbiter gives you the game back and you're blocked. Sometimes it doesn't. I mean, today, I just hadn't published the game and had 2 individuals in another area. The games were already in there, it just hadn't been published because they went in and blocked after I published. I mean, when I published it, then they went in like 30 minutes prior. All the dealt me that. They look, when you signed the game, they weren't blocked, but they went in and did that. I know some of the outline signers, they got some rescheduled games as well. And if you decide to do you do that and say, we're just gonna just continue to march, and I will go and get it covered the best way I can. Some individuals we know to do any game at the high school, whether it's junior varsity or high school, all those requirements got to be met. Was testing 75 above and all the other requirements. Okay, now, if you can get a waiver, if I got you a waiver for that, you're eligible. Some people, I mean, I've had a couple of people, when I assign the games, I look at it, and if your name doesn't appear as being eligible to sign, because if you blocked out. Now, if you got getting games now, it's only because your name, you just probably through January and didn't go in block out February. But I would tell you, I don't sign you games when you block, right? One thing that happens is that if you have a game, some people already got games in February, next week after, because they reschedule that game you're tied to that game. I put a new date in there, it takes that whole crew and move it to another date. Right. So if you come off a game, we got one individual that, hey, we plan on next Saturday. He's on the game. Both games got moved to Saturday. So again, when you do your blocks, if you do your blocks, make sure you conclude 5th of February. We do have some games on the 5th. And like I say, if just about majority of the schools and conferences are playing 3 games this week. A lot not playing on Monday. They're playing between Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Probably most of the schools are playing Tuesday, Thursday, Friday this week. A couple of them are playing on Saturday. So, a lot of moving parts. Call your partner. Again, it's not that you're getting someone in trouble when you call me. I mean, it's 15 minutes, at least 20 minutes prior. 15 minutes prior, like in accordance with the manual. I want you on the court. I want you inside the gym. They should know you're there. Somebody should be this week. A couple things happen. There's 2 people on the same crew. Or the line broke, then 2 or 3 minutes. I get a photograph. Somebody had a flat tire. It happens. Better so when you don't call me, or when the AD calls, most of the AD calls, it's game time. If I had that much time, fish on a day outside of Tuesday, I would rather be the one calling the AD than them call me. Because then I can look and see who's available, who's close by, whatever the case may be. Kind of limited when the AD calls 402, 403, and they don't have one referee. One referee that's there. You're there, whether you're the referee or you want. 3-person system. Doesn't matter. You take the other partner else there. Just call. Something could have happened. Just be running late. Again, our thing is that, hey, my job is to have the right amount of officials in that game. This Tuesday, Jack Brett sitting at first, Lumberton, Pinecrest, some of the Richmond, Scotland, they normally have 3-person in the JV. 2-person JV for this team. Probably the same thing on Friday. Unless I think all 3 officials, and if that's 3-person, they'll work all 3 games. All right. So I'll tell the schools, I'll notify them tomorrow. Some of them, Pernell Sweat went this year, they requested. It's up to the schools. I like that system because this helps you and it helps work a 3-person system. Once you go to 3-person in high school basketball, it doesn't change. Whether you go to the NBA, every level is 3, and you get a better understanding. And it's easy for me to move you up, or move you to an assignment if you can work 3-person. So I want to get as much practice on 3-person as possible. Got to be able to have the numbers in order to do that. And right now, I say, again, I say this often, and a lot of people, even other assigners, and even the NCTC, I would tell you, I don't need necessarily more officials. I need better. Better you are, the better the association is. Got the numbers. If people were just to be available, we would have no problem. I don't any day. Even if you take out 10%, people gonna close out for various reasons. But when we competing against all these other issues, other assigners, I've got calls from Northview Baptist Church, children, Falcon Home. Everybody's calling, hey, they need a referee, they need referees. Some of you all provide them referees. When you run out, you tell them to call me. We all in pool of officials. So hopefully, maybe not, definitely won't happen this year. Next year, we'll be able to see, okay, here's what everybody in, and we just try to cover it within all of our officials. All right. But the rest this year, like when you look at the games, I had to text a couple people today because you'll tell me, hey, I can't work on Monday and Tuesday. I'm TDY all this week. It's okay. But when I go in, like I say, bring the computer up, and I go in there and put the game out there, and it would give me who's available to work. I have to go back to all these notes and stuff like that. You work in another group, it doesn't get really give me sometimes. You can maybe able to work 4 o'clock game somewhere and then go work. You just got one game. Yeah, some of those Sand Hills, like Liberty. Some people only have middle school boys. They don't have middle school girls. Sometimes you can go. The order was according to where you're located at. They will let me know you have enough time to go from one place to another. Again, so if you get something that you think you can't make it or you not physically fit to do it, only going to be like say Tuesday or Friday this week. Payments. Next cutoff date was the 27th of January. I will send an email out either late tonight or tomorrow where you can go every individual. You're going to send, some signs don't send it, but I do it now because the check comes with it. The pay sheet, you can look at the pay sheet. The last time I ran the pay sheet, one date that people worked at Fayetteville Academy didn't go, and it wasn't on that. And I went back and had to add that. Now, I only heard from 2 people on the varsity. And I said that it brought that to my attention. So, but we went look back in it, 2 guys that worked the JV game. I mean, it's in there. The guys like say, hey, the thing is that every game that you work, you're gonna get. All right. This pay period gonna cover all up to the 27th. The next pay period going to end the season. We're gonna go, it's gonna be February 11th. All right. So I'll capture that. Some people, I guess, when came in the season, throughout the season, there's schools that I pay, and there's schools that pay the arbiter, and schools that pay on site. Those are 3 ways you receive payment. All right. Again, now, except in those games, you go to East Bladen, the teams that the schools that play on site, and I guess I'll have to make sure you have those because again, the bookkeeper has to cut that check. So you don't accept the game in a timely fashion, or you come off the game and I replace you, or on the day of that game, I have to, you come off the game, they won't have the check ready. Now, again, Fairmont, West Bladen, East Bladen, Purnell Sweat, schools that cut checks, Red Springs, they sometimes if we had a situation where they told me they was going to play JV boys at 4:30 in the varsity game. And they ended up playing JV girls and boys at 4 o'clock. And again, we had to go back and get that correct. So again, the way the game is put in, and that's happened several times this year because we have some teams have JV girls, some don't, and sometimes they fail to tell me. St. Paul's did it, so did Red Springs again this year. So if you get on the games, you know whether you're going to do it or not. Sometimes on the phone, brought to my attention also, another signer related that to me as well. Ensure that when you accept the game on the phone, on that app, make it when you hit submit, you might want to go back and recheck it. Sometimes you may tend to do it, but it's still on my end, it says notified. You think you've accepted it, but it hasn't. So if you're always safe when you do it on the full mode, full site, you make sure you accept it. And your partner, if they still have not accepted it, I can see it on my end. But sometimes if you all talk to each other and give them hey, you can tell them the same thing I can. Look, it says published. It says published, they have not looked at it. Okay. Notified, that means they've seen assignment. Some things, so again, let's help each other out. Let's operate as a team. The turn backs, if you have, some people always look, you can call the same day. But when you call, again, on Mondays, I'll say about 7, I get the first phone calls from schools, 7 o'clock, and it don't stop till about 3 o'clock. ADs calling, making changes. I expect that's going to be tomorrow because I will be making phone calls tomorrow to make sure on Tuesday. I don't want to tell someone because they've already coordinated teams to come visit them. that we don't have enough officials to do their games. You're gonna have to turn back a game. Hey, even though you call, your phone's not in, the number's not in my phone. You leave a message. I'll say that. Tell me, but also follow that up with a text message or email, and within an hour, especially, you should have a notification that you've been removed from the game. I try to stay away from having meetings on Mondays. To you, already got them scheduled, and but again, I try to monitor the phone and that out, because you feel both, because I can't put nobody else on the game to like remove you from the game. All right, so just make sure we straight on that. Injuries, if you get hurt, you can't, you know your body, you can't do the assignment. Hey, just contact me as soon as possible. Okay. The declines, like I say, I don't accept, I don't, when I sign your game, it's unavailable. So, and if it is whatever excuse you want to put in there, whatever reason you have, just put it in there. I mean, it is what it is. Okay. The COVID protocols. We have some gamesmanship. Only 2 counties I know that has a mandate of masks: Simpson County and Hope County. You go to Hope County, when they have the mask mandate, everyone wears a mask. Spectators, bench personnel, officials, players on the court. Easy. Everybody has a mask. We operate first timeout. First, we call a timeout on the first dead ball at the 4 minutes of each quarter. All right, you got 4 minutes. Hey, that's what we do. All right, they must have the mask on over their what? Mouth and nose. You want to give them a quick break at when you mention a free throw or something like that. But again, all this line, hey, they are have to have the mask. If there's not any time, official or players on the court, if it's not a mask mandate, it is optional. Optional means they can or they cannot. It's up to them. They don't have to. All right. If one team said we're going to wear our masks, that's optional. We do not need to, have to, mandated to give the timeout. Everybody understand that? So we're going to wear them. That's about choice. Because I have some of you officials, you all wear masks all the time. You don't go out and take a timeout, and you take breaks and stuff like that. When they call a timeout, you can do it again. That's the way the mask mandate is. We take care of the people on the court. People on the court, it's optional. If it's not mandatory, that means it's optional. So,
Communication Technology Company Limited, Style Vivo and Snowbone, is a Chinese technology company Guangdong that designs and develops.
So, again, on the mask mandate, if it's mandated, everybody wears all the time. We got a timeout. If it's optional, the team that wears the mask, they have 5 timeouts. I mean, it's at times, they're coming out. You can, as we manage the game, they're doing it. Hey, the person want to throw it in. They needed a quick break. You got the ball. You stand right there. Back up. You can look around. You just give them a little bit of time. But we can't, because again, the team, that's their choice. But they want to wear the mask. Okay. Now, some kind of particular athletic director, administrator may say, look, I'm going to be the mask police. I'm going to, but hey, they can instruct everybody else. The players on the court on the mask mandate, we determine whether they're not wearing them properly, whether they be removed from the game. On them, and they're just here. But the administration, the school administrator, the game day administrator, they're responsible for the bench and everyone else in the building. Players on the court, while they're participating, that's our responsibility. I mean, on a mask mandate. If they don't, like I say, there's gonna be times when somebody says, okay, well, we're gonna wear the mask, we want the timeout. No, it's not what the our guidance is from the NCHSA. Wear the mask, you win it for what? Your protection. Good for you. But the other team, just you getting timeouts because we get 4 timeouts. Each team has 5. That's 14 timeouts. You really can't get in for the game. That's not what it's intended to do. It's not meant to make momentum and do all those things. Not for that reason. All right. Same thing. There is no, if you go to overtime, even the mask mandate, there is no official timeout. There's no official timeout. First overtime, second overtime, it doesn't matter. If the quarter is only 4 minutes, right? The overtime period. All right. And it just we getting that to the end of the season. I mean, and I will tell you, some of the counties, the LEAs said they was going to limit spectators to 50% of different names. Don't worry about that because that's not happening. I don't foresee it happening as we get deep into the playoffs. We got most of the teams are playing 3 games this week, and and all want to play a conference tournament. In fact, I already have the dates for the Carolina 1A conference, which we only have 2 teams. We have Union and Lakewood, and that tournament is going to be at Lakewood. So I have those conference dates. I'll probably get the rest of the conference things by the end of this week. So, like I say, those of you who have not done your requirements, I mean, as we go forward, I'm gonna go with the people that done what they're supposed to do. They've been available, working the games. Because again, all these other games sometimes other places shut down. Everybody gonna turn toward it. The private schools are 1 week ahead. They normally start their playoffs now last week. They're gonna use that last week. They're not gonna have a conference tournament. They're gonna go straight to the state playoffs for them. They're gonna use that time to do makeup games. All right. I think I discussed it last time, but at NCHSAA, we starting out state playoffs on the 22nd. Now we'll probably have maybe a 30-minute Zoom next week. We'll probably have something to go over some different things that we'll probably get some guidance, some further guidance on the different rounds. There's 6 rounds. We have first 2 rounds, like I say, belong to the local association. Those dates are going to be the 22nd and 24th. And we're going to have some teams will have home boys games and home girls games. Some just girls and just boys. So they'll send, I send a 3-person crew, 2 games, like then still send a 3-person crew to do both games. I coordinate that out. That's up to the coach team. We got the 22nd and 24th February. And on the 26th, that Saturday, will be a sectional championship. And I'll get some information from the NCHSAA. Normally for the last 4 years, from the last 8 to 10 years, we normally get 3 girls sectional championships and 3 boys sectional championships. Then the 4th round will be on March the 1st. That's a Tuesday. And we normally get 3. That's the regional semifinals. This year, let's go all up to the state championship going to be hosted by higher seed, unless higher seed doesn't have the facility. They may move it to they're not there a neutral site, a place within. I said we could host it at the state. After we could hold it somewhere else, other different than high school gym. March the 1st is going to be the regional semifinals. March the 5th would be the regional championships. Normally we have 2 crews, and one of those 2 crews be the state championship crew. And then on the 6th round is actually March the 12th. That'll be the state championship. Right now we are scheduled to have a girls state championship. Yeah. That could change. Yes.
We got 2 things in the chat. Leroy said that Richmond County said they were under a mask mandate on Friday,
Okay,
and Anthony Maynor has a question.
yes, sir.
Okay, so with Lakewood hosting their conference tournament, let's just say that North Duplin and News Charter are playing each other at Lakewood. With the game being played in Sampson County, with the officials, would everyone still be required to wear a mask, even though it's two teams outside of Sampson County?
Yes, sir. Good question. And because every building in Sampson County gotta have a mask on. Going in that county, every building, every municipal gymnasium. So I'm hosting it, all those teams, they have every, and the official. Good question. They will have, unless they change it, everybody. And in fact, the conference president, he sent me the email already pertaining to that. Asked him to make sure he shared that with the other, EDs.
The other question is, if the visiting school by their LEA is required to wear a mask. I know you said earlier we're not going to give them the mask break, but in that situation is a mask mandate. Would we oblige and give them the mask?
It's a mask mandate. The only reason you gotta be a mask mandate. Because some teams, like we had a Harnett County School played a Cumberland County School on last Thursday night. And Cumberland County School option, they wore masks. And they wanted, but the other school didn't have to because the LEA didn't dictate. They wanted the timeouts. When we did that, I mean, and some of the guys, didn't. 3 to 5, 4 to 5 had a mask on because it's option, and we can't enforce it. One team said, look, my team's gonna wear a mask. We don't enforce that. Hey, you gotta keep it on, you gotta keep it on. Because it's not, that's up to the LA, that's up to the coach. But so we're not obligated to give them mask break. I'm gonna say that, the officials timeout. I mean, and if it gets, and I'm gonna talk to that, I talk to that school because I'm like, hey, well, and you can kind of look, and the team they was playing normally plays up tempo. The lowest points they scored that night was that night. They kept taking a break. Every 4 minutes, they trying to back that ball, we stopped it. They gave him a break. The other team, it was no man, it was an option. Now I don't know, did they do that all the time? I know that I didn't see them wear masks. They decided to do it that night. So we don't want to get into some type of strategy and help the other teams saying, look, since we wear a mask, but we're not required to. It's optional. But they'll always point to, well, we want to make sure that's why the other team always in protocol. Well, okay, I got it. But again, that's what the rules are from the NCHSA. I followed up with them on Friday. Content payments. Now, yeah. Also, when I go back to finance, 1099s are available there. If you made over $600, I'm saying that was for 2021. Now, some of you, some people made almost $600 last week. The way the games, the days, you might do it this week. All right, that's 2022. Hey, it's available. I'll send some out on email, how you can access this, download it, print it off, everything else. But it's only for those that made $600 or more that I reported to the IRS. All right, so you made $599, don't worry about it. Or less, that's up to you. However you report it, you report. That's one thing what I did. I've got an email I'm gonna go see this week. I normally don't, but I'm gonna reply to it tonight. I got an email from a middle school coach, sent directly to me. Said some things in there. Of course, like in an interview, when they talk about officiating, and I don't know how a middle school coach she can evaluate officials. I'm gonna send it. When I reply back, I noticed he didn't send it to his AD or anybody else. So I will respond tonight and schedule a meeting to talk to him, his AD, and the county AD. But in that first paragraph, he did say he complimented one crew that he was they did a good job. So that was good. But the other parts, he mentioned their names in the book. He couldn't read the names in the book, stuff like that. That's why I deal with the ADs. Anytime you go to a game, the ADs know prior to that because they have access to all of their school site. Anybody on at their school site. Now, if the two teams are playing, of course, if they playing the games that Center First playing Jack Brick, which is going to be in the games that Center First, Jack Brick coaches can't see what's going on over there, but they always see their home games, right? Again, let's put our names in the book. They can't read it. That's not a problem, right? Did get a detailed review, some clips from a high school game, and the coach sent email to me, ACC this AD, which is the proper protocol. So I'll send that sometimes just to, again, if I send you something, just look at it. I don't ask for a response. You don't feel obligated to give me. All right, I've said, look, somebody I may put on there, no response necessary. I mean, you feel obligated, you have to say something because some of you do, you can. But I'm saying, for me, I've dealt with it. Most of the times I look at a play, I look at the thing, so I'm looking it through officials' eyes. And if I think you were blocked or this, that, you passed on it, that's why I don't like to see just a snippet of one play, one small video, because that may be something you can allow in the entire game. And that's why I tell the ADs when they send me something along like that, the context, score, time, all those things. But again, what was good this weekend, we got one coach had a lot of things to say about one game. That same official worked the next night. I did get a text from on Friday night. I went to 4 games. One of the games I went to, the AD didn't see me. They did later on that night, said it best crew he had so far this year. And then it now forwarded it on to the crew. Again, guys, people out there, I mean, it's the way you handle things. In that game of some technical fouls and some other things, look, we're going to penalize misconduct. We're going to address 100% of misconduct. And that's what I tell them. I mean, so when they dunk, they flex, they doing different things. Again, watch the way we use our words. We don't. Taunting is a ejection. Profanity is an ejection. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, like I say, one of the things that middle school coach did was he mentioned that in his email about we just, the officials just there and saw this. I mean, so that's why I said I'm gonna go make sure. But I tell you what, every time you eject someone for profanity, normally I get a call. I mean, everybody knows this, it's an injection. It's no appeal process. I'll tell them. So they tell you they're gonna call the supervisor, they're gonna call, they mention my name. Hey, no problem. Again, but it's during the course of the game, someone start using that as the intimidating factor. Hey, trying to intimidate. I'm gonna call so-and-so. Go. Hey, first of all, that's a warning. If you already warn them, that's a death. We don't. That's not what we do. They don't need to. Why telling you? They can do it. I mean, again, but we got to. I mean, as now with all these games, they're not going to have much time to practice. Game after game after game. First place, second place, third place, in and out of playoffs going to change probably several times over the period of the next 2 weeks. People where they stand. Richmond hadn't lost a game. It was undefeated. Pinecrest got them the other night. Overhill's lost 2 in a row. I mean, Pine Forest, Terrace Sanford. I mean, any given night, we can say we have some great games. We had great crowds too. I was over there to watch the Terrace Sanford Pine Forest game. I mean, that game, the first half, was not as good as a game that officiated for the first. I would say those first 2 quarters, the part that I seen was just excellent. I mean, it was chippiness. I mean, but then I had to go to another game. And I'm bring up this also. We had a situation where the JV coach JV plays at 4:30. Varsity girls at 6. Varsity boys there at 7:30. JV coach gets 2 direct technicals, ejected. They disqualified. 6 o'clock game, no problem. He wants to come back and coach at 7:30 game. North Carolina High School Athletic Association, he's done for the day. You get ejected from the game, he has to stay what? That modeling behavior and all that course, he has to do some things. You can't just go, even at a different level. I received a call from a regional supervisor, principal at the other school, AD, referee. I'm glad the referee tried to call. Like I say, I was at this game. I went from Southfield, Terry Sanford. So I was going around, didn't see it. His 91st birthday, did some other things. So again, I got to it, but I did talk to the other AD and our AD, the Westover AD, to make look, if that happens, you can't, just like a player can't play. If you get ejected as a coach, disqualified that night, whatever that game is, you're done for that night. Okay? Can't go on it, and that's what someone like to do. Hey, on the JV, they acting out. I don't know if he's a head coach or not. He was on the bench. He got 2 direct tackles. And then because that was a JV game, he wanted to come back and coach the varsity game. So I'm pretty sure I'll be dealing in that situation more. End up losing by 4 points. I guess, like I say, if you're not sure, just pick up the phone. That's what it's there for. I mean, but again, common sense thing is that on an ejection, cannot. Certain things they have to do before they go back and allow the coach.
Earl,
Yes.
how do you handle that?
That's how they handle it. They call me. They call me.
I'm saying, so during the game, or that guy's been thrown out, you need one of your partners need to go to the locker room and call you
No.
play any.
No, don't go to the locker room. I'm saying, hey, he's gone. I don't know if the crew even knew he was doing the TV game. There was a whole different set of officials. I mean, the AD called me. I mean, and the regional supervisor called, the principal called. I mean, they were trying to contact, because I guess the coach wanted to know. The other crew didn't know. They told him, and they knew. Of course, when if he knew it was okay, he wouldn't even brought it up. But I don't know how the other 2 found out anything. But if that's the case, when we going out, I would tell you right now, at the JV game, and the coach is ejected, disqualified, I asked that you just tell the other crew coming in, look, hey, coach, we don't know. Like I say, I don't know how he came up, but I know it was on my phone up. And when they asked me about it, I was like, oh, no, absolutely not. And that's I told our AD, the host AD, she went and told the other, and then called me back again. I said, put me on speakerphone. And then go get the coach if you want to. He cannot coach tonight. And of course, with the North Carolina High School Athletic Association, hey, once he's ejected from that game, not the same day, because he was come back. And so, and they did, I think, again, if you do that, but if the varsity crew, when I came in, the referee called, just want to make sure. I mean, that's the thing. That's what it is. I mean, that's what I say. Normally, if I get a phone call like that, and I'm coming over, I want to make people know, look, hey, all you're doing is what? Enforcing the rules. We don't make them up. We just enforce them.
Hey, Errol, I think, like real quick, if we have an ejection in a JV game, if the referee from the JV game can kind of stick around for a second.
Right, that's what I just said, yeah.
Yeah, let the varsity crew know that, hey, the coach from the JV game's been ejected. And if you can point him out, go ahead and give him a heads up, and then that'll help the varsity crew coming in.
Well, and when you say that, guys, hey, when you say point him out now, don't go like court now. That's them, pointing at, right? Just right today, look, hey, put his name. Like I say, another thing, we had an ejection report that went in this weekend. On Friday, went in Thursday night, we had a varsity game. And we go by a lot of things. I say the playoffs, they have to do update back to reps. Now, 2 weeks ago, I guess in the coach, I mean, the AD to me, the 2 players changed jerseys. If you don't get the name that night, normally when you get it, you don't have to get it right then. Just in the second quarter, third quarter, hey, we need to get, number 33's name. You don't have to do it because sometimes you're shooting a technical foul, you're doing different things. There was an ejection, so a flagrant. You're doing some other things. Just tell the people at the table, look, I need that player's name. Just write it on a little scratch piece of paper. You don't need to bring attention to it and put it in your pocket right then. Just get that. Make sure we gotta get that name. But what is, we went on Max Preps, got the name, submitted the report, and then the AD contacted me the next day saying, hey, that was the wrong person, and this person did this. So when they sent it to me, all I did was did the email to the NCHSAA, CC both the AD and the ejecting official. And then the NCHS say, look, they changed. I told them the exact same. Again, we're not going to, you know, just sometimes it's a post-game ejection. Sometimes it's at the very end, you go out, that information should be right on Max Preps. But again, guys, we're in this together. So let me know you don't have the name. Hey, I got it off Max Preps. Okay, let's go with it. And again, sometimes you'll think it's not a lot of work. Because trust me, when someone gets ejected, what happens is the other team, it was a fight because they're gonna play them next. They want to make sure that player's what is not playing. All right. So we're gonna do what's right now. You see if you look on the screen there, you'll see ejection report. And that's all it is. You go down and see that drop down arrow, you go down and you just click. Most of them got a drop down menu. You just see it. You select the school, the home team, away team, the level, JV, varsity. Whatever you click, a regional supervisor. You click those things. There's not use profanity. Some of you don't say the words, you can type it. Say exactly what it said. Just said, hey, you put the first, the beginning of the letter, F, asterisk, A, whatever you want to put, hey, whatever you put in there, the person used profanity is ejected. You go there and you say, coach, player, whatever it is, just like what he's doing right now. Say, no, just what, coach, hey, tell you what coach, assistant, head coach. Click, obscene gesture, profanity. Click profanity, hey. Some put the time, coach, second quarter, everything. Hey, you don't have to put a whole, we ain't gonna relive it, but that's automatic. They was taunting. What was he doing? He stood over the person. He stepped over, yelling in his face, whatever the case may be. Put that in there and then submit the report. All right. I mean, that's so again, because like I say, I got the email I got to address tonight. Where the other team, the referee stood there, other people was cussing and stuff like that. All right. It's always a referee, I guess. We don't know one supposed to deal with that. Administrators, we got the other coach of the other team. Not gonna say nothing, but so again, or don't let not your desire to not do a report allow bad behavior and misconduct to continue in your game. I mean, there's no excuse for that. So, like I say, because it's always, every time a coach gets suspended, a player gets ejected or disqualified, I get a long story about they were in this game, the player did this, did that. Okay. Not just that's what I say. All right. Coach, what question you have for me? Because everybody say that like good officials enforce the rules. I mean, when you all cut people a break, that they think that's what everybody got to do. The uniforms, and when I say that, now the uniforms, the JV varsity level, even at the middle school level, we need at least point out some schools under impression about uniforms. They may not be educated. They'll say right now, we've been doing this all season. There's no reason to say you don't care. I know that, look, but here's what the rules are. Hey, tell them what you want them to do. I'm informing you, look, can't change whatever you want them to do. I would ask, an AD calls me, I go over to them. I'll go show it to them. That's not, you don't need to do that. You know the rules. If they've been coming out there, I mean, again, they're doing warm-ups when they catch it before, a lot of people have shooting shirts on and different things. We don't know until they take it off. Then we got all kind of violations. Again, we're not gonna let them play with illegal equipment or illegal equipment. So if you're gonna do that, hey, they may not like it, but they're gonna comply. Payments, service designs, makeup schedules, COVID protocols, playoffs, and it got in it. It's particular plays. Again, that's just the fundamentals of, like I say, the crowds. No one is in where the red lane line. It extends all the way to the wall. So if they're shooting free throws in there, some camera, some media in there. No one is inside that lane line extended. Okay. Give yourself some room. Someone's always facing, because we're in a 3-man and the 3-person mechanics. Know when that person is bringing the ball in, you got the thrower has it at their disposal. When the person that's counting, administering that throw in, it gets to about 3. They probably at 6, 7. Somebody look over to that bench and the thrower you got, and the person right there. If you opposite, I mean, if you put your back to the table, you're on table side, you really can't see it. It's off the table. Look back. The coach had to get your attention. If they want to call a timeout. Normally, in critical time situations, the last 2 minutes, I hand the ball to the thrower. I tell them, you don't have any timeouts, or you got one. So I don't want them to put that on me. So again, you do that, but that's called game management. Somebody should be because just because they're requesting timeout, they don't have a timeout until it's granted. We start running out there, and I'm at 4. I'm going my arm out. I'm 2. I'm at 3, 4. I'm going out, and you calling a timeout. You might not make it for that. We're not on Zoom. I was calling timeout, and you come up to your partner. Oh, he was calling timeout. Again, just make sure. Hey, when you get together in the last 2 minutes of the game, we've had a lot of good games here, right? Did you discuss certain things? How you gonna handle it? All right. I've seen some good technical fouls, but I've seen some times we need to get warnings probably early on in the game that we're allowing. We would want to get to the point where it should be warnings coming too late. All right, we've been letting stuff going on. Good, like I say, good job the other night where certain numbers was just never played. It was talking, coming in, but they told him. So the official go over there and tell the coach. Basically, yep, what number was, because that's it. Okay, some people, especially when the game started getting decided, teams are, get behind, people make a couple good plays, crowds. Also on the game the other night, they had student sections from both sides. One of the student sections from the opposing team was putting some derogatory stuff on the little board they had up, holding up. You had to go there and address that. And you're going to see some of it because when you go over to the table, you go to report a file, sometimes you're going to see that. Let the game be administrator do it in a very discreet way. I mean, they saw it and even over there and addressed it. I mean, and Midway, Ernest Sweat, Lumberton, Jack Britt, 71st. A lot of these schools playing each other this week, and a lot of, like I say, so many games. They ran 3 games in a week. Now, we're gonna get an ejection. That's gonna be a significant part of the end of the season. Most of them still got 5 games left. They got 5 conference games left. I mean, listen to some of the high school OD been doing the interviews. So they're gonna be missing one of those better players. They're going to be trying to, look at, they ask you how can they appeal. There is no appeal or an ejection or disqualification SSOA. They will have to go to the state. Okay. If you want to go, I trust what you do, and that's what it's going to be. They can call me, but I'm telling you, there's no appeal. Me, you are my eyes and ears out there. Hey, you on the court. You can't unhear. You can't unsee what you saw. Okay, so you said, this is what it is. That's what it is. They're going to send some video to the state. That's how it goes. They'll send it to Mark Grabbers, and then he'll contact me. If I need to, I'll contact you. The only person going to change it is going to be you. Right? So I'm just telling you, that's the way it goes. That's the way I explained it. I was in there, and some of you all who've been with me and have been a part of that, you know how that goes. Again, you're there. They want to talk nice to me, and but then on that night, it's a whole different thing. Gonna say anything else for this week? Like I say, is anybody on the call does not have assignment on Tuesday that's available for it? There should be everybody on the call should be assigned a game. You get off the call, if you would, just go in, Auburn tonight, set that game that you have.
Earl,
Yes, sir.
I think I can make myself available. I give you a call after this.
Okay.
Tuesday.
Okay. And again, like I said, everybody and is it gonna be some changes? It probably will, because I call the schools tomorrow, and like I say, there's something added. Guys, look, after these 2 weeks, the regular season's over. So again, I will try. That's what I'm trying to get it all out, so that it's gonna be some changes, yes, but the regular season will be over. Our biggest nights is really 120 officials Tuesday night, like 117, 118 on Friday night, and some of that last week. And then the evening, got a couple of games on the 14th, but the 14th is when the conference tournament start. And the conference tournament start on the 14th. At some point, like I say, we may have, I know we're gonna have a Zoom meeting. It won't be this one right now, 7:59. Won't be as long, because everybody's gonna be invited. We talk about the playoffs, talk about some different things. Hey, and I hope to talk to just about everybody, because again, we go forward. Some people of the mindset that there's only 3 people made market improvement, better schedule this year than you had the year before. You should steady progress, but we're only gonna have 3 to go. We have a lot to choose from, okay? And people, when I give you games that I give you, Simon, look, I want you to work hard. I want you to do, because you should have, the people that have going to the playoffs should have a playoff schedule. Hey, we're gonna have playoffs in, like I say, middle school, and we're gonna have it in varsity or JV playoffs. Private school may have some. I'll take that back. I'll find out. I know they didn't do, they're not doing anything for varsity, even our conference. But because last year, Berean, now they are a provisional member of the North Carolina Independent Schools Association. They moved up. They won both the state championships in the private school, Christian school, state playoffs for both the JV and the varsity. But for public schools, we don't have anything for JVs. So when I do the games, I do the middle school games, and I do the varsity games. Right? Some of you all have to do a combination of both. All right. Keep your uniform with you. Like I said, we've had a couple of things happen, and it's going to continue to happen. That's just like life just happens. Now, this spring, when I say that spring, softball, lacrosse, men's and women's, spring soccer, getting ready to start. So we got people going to clinics there. We got this. We got baseball. Leave that out. A lot of moving parts. Got a lot of multi-sport officials. Again, hey, you have every opportunity. John Owens just said about people getting clinics and everything like that. Hey, you've had every opportunity to meet all your requirements. Okay, so if you haven't done your part, that's a you problem. Okay, let's don't. Hey, but again, all these other sports gonna start doing things, having games. Hey, doing different things at different levels, college, like I say, Parks and Rec, other assigners. Hey, again, you make, some of you have gamble ticket on yourself, say, look here, when you're closing out and doing different things, like I say, I will try to get the rest of the regular season out, and I will go at least as far out and say, look, who I think I need for those 18 to make it to the Sweet 16. And I say that the sectional championship. That's what should be the goal for most people. Because you get there, the people that make it to the sectional championship or the cream of the crop, so say they can go either by their performance this year, can go all the way to the end. Okay, like I say, maybe we're going to go out and watch games and see, but I got to see you in the tough game. Sometimes some people just want to go because it's close and everything else. And like I say, some of you all get the opportunity to work 3 assignments, 3 games, 2 assignments, 3 assignment and a varsity assignment. What the game is. I mean, it is some physical demands. I mean, the crew I saw work both at Southview and at Terry Sanford worked hard. I mean, the game made them work hard. I mean, that's the only way. It would have been out of control. Those guys did a good job. Then I actually got a text from the AD at Southview saying, "Hey, that's the best crew." Well, I guess the game, both games were good. We're very, very competitive. Anybody got anything for the good of the group? I got one that, hey, Keith, I look forward to hearing from you. Those that are doing those multiple sports, I mean, they had a clinic for baseball. They've had 2 so far. Softball, we want to have basically a all officials meeting tomorrow night. I'm gonna move it. It's gonna change on the thing to 7 o'clock. I'm gonna send an email out tonight. Everything can be made up. Again, we want you to be on the call. We want you to ask questions as we get ready for the season. But again, we're still in the state championships in wrestling. We have Pinecrest, Lumberton. We have some good wrestling teams. And also, one of our own officials, both regional supervisor Charlie Jenkins and David Colbert, for integral parts of helping the NCHSA, facilitate state championships. So we got a lot of things going on. So again, let's stay in touch. Hey, if you have something, don't just when you call, don't feel afraid to leave a message. Hey, and also, hey, put it in writing.
Real quick while you're checking that, guys, I put in the chat the link. I know some of you are asking what the link for the makeup clinics were. I put that in the chat. So if you need to make up any clinics, I know Mr. Daniels has published out that he was hoping that all clinics would be made up by the 31st. So if he extends that deadline, I will open those classes up to a longer period. But they are all up to date and it tells me when you're doing it. So he has an updated list as of right now. If you have a question of which clinics you're missing or anything like that, and I can help you, just email me and I will get to you as quick as I can.
And one more thing, guys. I just got a text from officials along the line. All right. I'm saying about self-awareness and knowing who you are and what. Now, some officials told me earlier, see, look, hey, 2 games a week, that's it. I want to just read part of this saying, hey, I've closed out Friday this week. He already have 3 varsity assignments this week. You really need to give him a call. Look, I will open up for Friday. He don't want to do 4 games a week, but he can do a JV game. So again, now some of these games, I haven't signed 3 games a week, no more this year, except for when he got one of those games is a game that got moved to that week. About having self-awareness, don't allow me to put you in some situation and you say, look, it's a bad fit. You know who you are. I mean, that's what I said about this here. I don't run adult daycare. You know what you're capable of, what days you can do it. We know what the critical days are. That's why I put the calendar out there where you can see it. But again, I really appreciate that text. I mean, again, that's when we communicate. That's what Keith Bell said. I maybe make myself available. I'll call you. We only got 2 of the toughest days we got this whole year. February 1st, February 4th. We get through that, everything else is going to take care of itself. All right. So let's just work together. I mean, and you can still do those other things, and that's what it is about a team. But again, I appreciate that text, and like I say, let's have a great week. Look here, stay safe. What I don't, I mean, hey, this hopefully, nobody, you know, everybody's who, for the most part, we all out of quarantine. Nobody's in COVID right now. I think for the most part, we've had it. It hit us as officials pretty good this in January. I mean, quite a few people was either in quarantine or had COVID sometime in the month of January. So I say, just stay safe. And
Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding right now.
anybody got anything? That's yeah, that's it. I like it. For those guys of y'all who like into your community, and your guys like a godsend. I mean, some of y'all guys know the guys in Robinson County, he's Blade, all that kind of. Hey, you just give me information. A lot of times the ADs, especially the ones that coach and stuff, they don't get things to me. Like I say, if some of this stuff changed, I would text you if I think you need, if it's something complicated. Because sometimes you come off a game, you're back on a game, and so. Anybody have anything? Mr. McCray, you got something for the group? Al, you got something?
No, sir. I'm good.
Okay, all right. And
If you need the clinic
All
credit,
right.
you need me to do it. You need to stay on for me. So if you need clinic credit when Mr. Daniels released, just stay on for me and I will, I'll get that taken care of for you.
I think he's froze up. He may not be connected anymore, John.
Hold on, I'm going that way to see. I was answering a question. I'm sorry. Yep. So Errol is froze. Let me see if I can get him on his phone. All right, I'm trying to catch him. Just give me 1 second. Let me see if I can. All right, I just text him. We'll see if he gets it.